Tonight, concerned Ontarians speak out against proposed cuts to psychologist training standards.
Our main goal, we're in healthcare, and so we want to protect the public.
Dozens of psychologists rally on Parliament Hill, sounding the alarm over a move they say could compromise public safety. Exploring the possibility of a new interprovincial bridge.
It's overkill in terms of satisfying the needs for commuters from the Quebec side.
The National Capital Commission releases a new report asking thousands of residents how they feel about the multi-billion-dollar proposal. And Santas go for a stroll.
The marathons I do are a lot more serious, so seeing kind of just a fun, goofy, spirited run is a blast.
The 35th annual Santa Shuffle Fun Run returns to the capital, raising funds for the Salvation Army. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Austin is off tonight, and we begin with psychologists, students, and concerned members of the public rallying on Parliament Hill today, speaking out against proposed cuts to psychologist training standards. CTV's Camille Wilson joins us live in studio, back from outside Parliament Hill with more on this. Camille.
Kimberly, psychologists from across the province gathered on Parliament Hill and in Toronto calling out a proposal to lower training standards, arguing doing so could compromise public safety. Dozens of psychologists rallying in opposition to training standards that could be cut by the College of Psychologists and Behaviour Analysis of Ontario.
Our college has made proposals to drastically cut training to new psychologists, 75%, which is unprecedented and would make us the province with the lowest standards in all of the country.
Deanna Drahotzel, along with other psychologists, are concerned such a move would impact clients.
Our main goal, we're in healthcare, and so we want to protect the public. And it's quite worrisome that these changes might lead to vulnerable people not being properly cared for, not being properly diagnosed, not being properly looked after.
People here say the college is telling them they are under pressure to make these changes to meet demand, as more psychologists are needed across the province.
Mary and myself both work with children, a very vulnerable population. It takes years and years of training to do this work in an ethical, responsible way, so that we know how to diagnose this population appropriately without risk.
Right now, the requirement is to have at least a master's degree or PhD level to practice. But with that being cut, the fear from these psychologists is that this will change the way mental health is treated in Canada. But those changes haven't happened yet.
A big misperception that people have about psychologists is that all of our work is talk therapy. And while that is a really important part of our work, it's a small part of what we do.
Many say they are feeling betrayed because they were held to high standards, and suddenly those standards no longer seem important.
We are required to, we carry with us the controlled act of diagnosis. And diagnosis is a controlled act because it can do harm. It's like being able to operate on somebody or being able to administer medications to people or to be able to drill their teeth.
Drahotzel says if the proposals aren't reversed, the next step will be to go to the Ministry of Health.
What's very disappointing is our college is not taking us seriously, despite 95% of us saying no, that these we vote no.
Again, there hasn't been a final decision on these proposed changes, but members of the college say they want the public to be aware of the concerns. We reached out to the Public of Psychologists and Behaviour Analysis of Ontario, but we didn't hear back before airtime. Kimberly.
CTV's Camille Wilson reporting live for us tonight. Thank you very much, Camille. Well, does the Capital Region need another interprovincial bridge? The National Capital Commission has released a report on what it heard from residents in the first round of public consultation on the proposed East End Bridge. Some see the proposal as a way to reduce truck traffic downtown, but others have major concerns about how traffic could change in their neighborhood. Now, CTV's Josh Moreno was out speaking with some of those residents today. What do they have to say, Josh?
Well, Kimberly, the National Capital Commission says more than 5,000 people from both Ontario and Quebec took part in an online survey. And while plans are still early, the report highlights a mix of enthusiasm and hesitation, especially for communities closest to the proposed corridor. Plans for an interprovincial bridge connecting Ottawa and Gatineau once again sparking controversy after the National Capital Commission released its first round of public consultations.
It's overkill in terms of satisfying the needs for commuters from the Quebec side. That would only lead to congestion downtown.
More than 5,000 people participated in the online survey from Ontario and Quebec. Reducing truck traffic in the downtown core was ranked most important by 38.5% of respondents, followed by reducing commute times and better options for public transit. However, traffic impacts on neighborhoods was a common concern, highlighted by 25.6% of people surveyed, followed by impacts of construction and increased congestion on nearby roads.
They've opened a community center just around the corner here, and the traffic on the street has increased. So that's a small thing. Imagine what a bridge would do with all the approaches and everything else.
It's been a minute since we've had a lot of truck traffic on King Edward. It is the only interprovincial truck route in North America that goes through a downtown core. Having a solution to that would be helpful.
Plans for an interprovincial bridge connecting Ottawa's Aviation Parkway to Gatineau's Monte-Paiement across Kettle Island have been talked about for decades. The current attempt was included in the federal government's 2024 fall economic statement.
It's all our responsibility to help increase interprovincial trade and lessen our dependence on the United States. We don't know what's going to happen with the political situation there, so we have to reinforce our own businesses, our own small businesses, and we have to make sure that we have systems in place that support that.
However, many feel there are more realistic options to alleviate traffic, especially with the bridge estimated to cost $4 billion.
A ring road is the only solution to be able to bridge between the 416 and the 417, all the traffic that we see and the constant congestion going through downtown on the 417. Adding more trucks to that traffic is not going to help anything.
For Brunette, the bridge risks turning an already busy parkway into something unmanageable.
All you have to do is see the aviation or the parkway at rush hour heading to or from in the morning, and you can see that it with the bridge, that would just be untenable, in my view.
A report released by the NCC last year found approximately 3,500 trucks cross the Ottawa River a day, with 72% of them using the Macdonald-Cartier Bridge, leading into Lower Town. The NCC says it plans to release more detailed designs in future phases, along with traffic and environmental studies in the new year. Kimberly.
Wait and see how it all turns out. Thank you very much, Josh. All right, we'll take our first check of the weather. A look of the Vanier area behind me looks very winteresque and picturesque as we take our first peek at what's happening here in Ottawa. Right now, we're sitting at -2 degrees. We do have a chance of some more flurries that we'll be dealing with in the overnight hours. And again, pretty cool here in the Ottawa area. -14 our overnight low. Same thing with the Cornwall area. We've got 11 degrees for Pembroke with more cloud cover there. -9 degrees in Kingston and -9 in Trenton. We're looking at -17 towards Pembroke. -18 in Kittigan-Zibi. Now as for tonight's lows, we'll be looking at -17 for Gatineau as well. Same thing for Petawawa. -18 toward the Maniwaki stretch. -19 for Mont-Tremblant. -10 for Montreal. We'll take a quick look at what's happening tomorrow here in the capital. -9 with the chance of flurries that we'll be looking at for your Sunday. -8 for Cornwall. Flurries there as well. In Brockville, we're looking at -7. Same thing along the Seaway with some cool temperatures. -9 for Gatineau, -10 for Montreal, -8 for Kemptville that we're seeing there. And we'll take a quick look at, again, that's how your your weather is shaping up right now. Ontario Provincial Police have charged 7 people with drug-related charges in Pembroke. On Thursday, police executed search warrants at multiple residences on William Street. OPP found 55 grams of suspected cocaine, hydromorphine tablets, and pills and other items associated with drug trafficking. Now, of the 7 people arrested, 5 are from Pembroke, 2 are from Petawawa, and ages range from 28 to 50 years old. Dozens of Indigenous artifacts released from the Vatican collection arrived in the capital region today. Indigenous leaders have long called on the Vatican to return Indigenous items in their collection. Representatives spoke with the Pope Francis in 2022 when they met him in Rome to discuss the legacy of church-run residential schools. During their visit, they were given a private viewing of some of the items held by the church. Some of the artifacts had not been seen by the public in decades. They are now at the Canadian Museum of History in Gatineau, where they are being examined. Well, today marks the 36th anniversary of L'École Polytechnique massacre. As the memory of the victims are honored, advocates say gender-based violence should be treated as a public health issue. CTV's Rahim Ladani reports.
Anne-Marie Lemay.
14 roses placed in memory of each of the women who were murdered in one of the worst moments in Canadian history. The rose ceremony inside Toronto's Women's College Hospital, commemorating the 36th anniversary of the L'École Polytechnique massacre.
It's important to remember the victims because the point is to prevent further victims, and that's the best thing we can do in the memory when we commemorate.
Heidi Rathjen survived the attack when Marc Lepine interrupted a lecture for engineering students in Montreal on December 6, 1989. Lepine made all the men leave the room before opening fire on the 9 remaining women with a semi-automatic rifle. He continued his attack in the halls, killing a total of 14 women and injuring 13 others. Liberal MP Nathalie Provost was also in the lecture hall that day.
I think I just take the time to stay quiet, to recognize what has been done, and to take energy to be able to do what still has to be completed.
2 years after the attack, Ottawa declared this date the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women. In Montreal, Prime Minister Mark Carney attended a vigil, laying a white rose to honor the victims of the attack. However, advocates say gender-based violence remains a crisis and governments are not acting with a sense of urgency.
2 years ago, Bill C-21, important measures to remove firearms from domestic abusers are still not in effect. We're still waiting.
The calls for change are countrywide. In Ontario alone, officials report at least 44 femicides in the past year.
Toronto police released their first ever data around incidences of intimate partner violence.
Data showing that more action is needed to prevent further tragedy, as Canada marks one of the country's darkest days. Rahim Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
Yesterday's World Cup draw put the Prime Minister right beside U.S. President Donald Trump and Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum for hours. After the draw, the trio of leaders met as trade tensions continue to simmer between the countries. CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Melvin has more.
Soccer may be the star of the show, but politics also on the program. The U.S. President Donald Trump telling reporters,
"We're getting along very well. I think we have a meeting set up for sometime after the event. We'll discuss trade. Yeah, we'll discuss trade."
All eyes on the 3 leaders appearing together for the first time in the middle of a trade war, co-hosts, teammates for the FIFA draw.
It is going to be the biggest deal ever.
A very big deal for Canada. Watching from the balcony, they were all pretty chummy. Prime Minister Mark Carney, Mexico's president in the middle, and President Trump. For Carney, it's his first face-to-face with the president since October, when Trump abruptly cut off trade talks, angry over that Ontario anti-tariff ad, even floating the idea of blowing up the Trilateral trade agreement he once called the best deal ever.
Mr. President, this is your prize. This is your peace prize. There is also a beautiful medal.
There's never been a FIFA Peace Prize, but Donald Trump got the first one. In a good mood, he even gave a shout out to his co-hosts and trading partners.
We've had a tremendous relationship, working relationship with Canada. We have our Prime Minister of Canada there, and we have our President of Mexico.
All smiles after a family photo. The 3 leaders huddled together behind closed doors for about 45 minutes. The Prime Minister's office called the talks between the 3 leaders constructive discussions, and they agreed to keep working together on CUSMA. From low expectations, perhaps, to a reset. The president showing off his signature moves. Maybe sports can smooth over political tensions.
The big question now, are the trade talks back on after that meeting? Certainly face-to-face diplomacy can't hurt.
Joy Melvin, CTV News.
We may have seen multiple Santas and people in festive costumes running along the canal today. The 35th annual Santa Shuffle took place at Lansdowne Park. It's a fun run, raising money for the Salvation Army. CTV's Natalie Van Roy is back from Lansdowne with the latest. Natalie.
Well, Kimberly, more than 900 people, many in costumes, wore their festive best to take part in the 1 kilometer and 5 kilometer run.
3, 2, 1. Ready, set, and they're off. Santa's helpers running along Ottawa's historic canal for the 35th annual Santa Shuffle. For Gail and Quinn Stokes, it's a new mother-son tradition.
For the fun of it, getting dressed up on a wintry day and start off the holiday season, I just got my second new knee. And I'm still in recovery and thought it would be good for me to get out.
Honestly, the costumes, the marathons I do are a lot more serious, so seeing kind of just a fun, goofy, spirited run is a blast.
Festive costumes on full display, the Grinch and his dog, Santa Claus and elves.
I love to be in the Christmas spirit, and it's a really great opportunity to support the community, support people in need at Christmas.
Especially after the last couple of days where it's been so cold. But it should be a fun time. Looking forward to the hot chocolate and the market afterwards.
It's a good race, it's a good cause, and the people, just all of it. Yeah, it's a feel-good run.
We have 927. More than 900 people taking part. The run raising money for the Salvation Army.
The money raised in Ottawa specifically helps to support the Salvation Army Bethany Hope Centre in Ottawa. So we're a community resource centre for pregnant and parenting youth.
It's just organization.
Funds raised here will help with food security, education, employment, and child development parent support.
They do so much work in our community that I don't think people realize what they're involved in many, many aspects. And they're always there in a crisis for everybody.
Merry Christmas! A way to give back while having fun.
And Kimberly, the fun part about this run is you don't have to be an avid runner to take part. It's mostly just for fun, and your time isn't recorded, but organizers say they do have a clock running if people would like to time themselves.
A lot of fun looking at that. Did you have a favorite costume there, Natalie?
You know, I love the Grinch one. It was so creative, and the child there was having fun with that one, too.
Look, nice to see so many people out there and enjoying it. CTV's Natalie Van Roy reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Natalie. And Santa's holiday train was back at the Canada Science and Technology Museum today. Today's festivities all in support of CHEO. Families had the chance to tour the festive train and meet Black Santa and CHEO Bear, the event organized by the Bytown Railway Society.
I was escorted out through the airport by 2 armed staff members.
Still ahead, we share the story of a Canadian woman who is a surrogate for an American couple and has been denied entry to the U.S. And here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. We're sitting at -2 degrees here in Ottawa. The Bell Media building is lit up bigger and brighter this year. That's all thanks to our friends at Christmas Decor from Nutrilon. Hundreds of couples across Canada turn to surrogates each year when they're unable to get pregnant themselves. Now, one Canadian woman's compassion led to her offering to help an American couple. CTV's Adrian Groberall now has more with the shocking developments that has cast one family's future in doubt and left multiple questions about the decision-making process of U.S. border officials.
A Canadian's dream of helping an American couple complete their family has been denied by U.S. Border Services.
I was escorted out through the airport by 2 armed staff members.
Though Melody, who's asked we only use her first name, isn't a criminal, she's a surrogate. On October 12th, Melody arrived at Calgary Airport's U.S. Customs pre-clearance, where she shared all her paperwork as a surrogate to travel to a fertility clinic in California where an embryo is being stored, with plans to immediately return home to Canada, where she hopes to eventually deliver the child.
The border agent told me that what I was doing is illegal, which it's not, stating that I was going down to California for financial benefit.
Surrogates visiting fertility clinics in America isn't uncommon. In an email to CTV News, U.S. Customs and Border Protection wrote that a Canadian serving as a surrogate for an American family, particularly if compensation is involved, would likely be classified as employment under U.S. immigration law, requiring a work visa. Though Melody wasn't going to work in the United States, she says she's never made any money from being a surrogate. Canadian law clearly prohibits surrogates from profiting financially.
We are allowed, though, to reimburse surrogates for expenses she incurs as a result of the surrogacy.
Melody already carried and delivered a healthy baby boy for the same California-based couple in 2018. Plans for a second surrogacy were delayed by the pandemic.
We've been trying to set this up to have a second one ever since, to kind of complete what we consider our family.
The California father, who's asked that we not use his name, fearful that going public may create more problems for Melody at U.S. Customs, believes the future of his family now hangs in the balance.
Philip, you can come down. I don't think we're going to give up.
It's so disappointing that a governmental institution would interfere in such a relationship. This surrogate is like an angel who's going to help them have a child.
Trying to have a family is not a criminal offense. Being a surrogate is not a criminal offense.
The Calgarian will try to clear U.S. Customs once again and fly to the fertility clinic in California this Sunday in her quest to help complete an American family. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Reaction continues to pour, and after a massive deal was reached in the entertainment world, streaming giant Netflix is taking over Warner Brothers Discovery for $72 billion U.S.
Netflix has bought legacy when it comes down to buying Warner Brothers. You know, they have never been a Hollywood heavyweight up until now. They've been outsiders. And now with this purchase, they have officially consolidated the idea that they're not only in Hollywood, but they have a legacy to be able to capitalize on. This is such a big deal to be dropped in the middle of December that it's the biggest news story to come out of Hollywood. And it does shake up the industry from production right down to consumer.
Now, the acquisition gives Netflix access to a vast film catalog and the prestigious streaming service HBO Max. It's the largest consolidation deal in the entertainment industry since Disney's $71 billion takeover on Fox in 2019. Now, the Netflix deal is expected to attract a lot of scrutiny from competition regulators. Both Netflix and Warner Discovery say the deal likely won't be finalized until 2027. Canada has long committed to procuring 88 U.S.-made F-35 fighter jets to replace Canada's aging fleet. But the federal government is reviewing its options in light of lingering trade tensions and Sweden pledging up to 10,000 jobs if Canada purchased jets from them. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more.
As the Canadian government contemplates following through on its procurement of Lockheed Martin's F-35s, or diversifying the Air Force's fleet by also acquiring Swedish company Saab's Gripen E fighters. A Nano survey is shedding new light on what Canadians think is most important. 40% said having the fighter jet that is the best solution. 28% said picking the jet that generates the most Canadian jobs. 18% said defense cooperation with Europe was the most important factor. Double the number of Canadians who said cooperation with the U.S. was key. And just 2% of those surveyed said the government should pick the lowest cost option.
What this shows is that if the government decides to change tact, it's actually going to have to explain why.
A recently leaked defense document revealed the F-35 scored higher than Saab's Gripen across a range of military and technical performance categories.
In your report and recommendations to the Prime Minister in this review, did you let him know that the F-35 beat the Gripen by a mile?
The review continues, and it will continue until it's complete. And I am quite sure that the kinds of metrics you're alluding to and referring to will find their way into the final report.
Experts say while the F-35 may be the better choice to maintain compatibility with the Americans, a diversified fleet could also be to Canada's advantage. Even as critics suggest Saab's pledge to create 10,000 jobs in Canada is unrealistic.
There is no single best jet. It depends on the missions.
The defense minister has not committed to a deadline for when the government will decide what fighter jet or jets will ultimately be selected. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, Canada's November job numbers released yesterday show some surprising growth. A closer look reveals much of it has been concentrated among large companies. Meanwhile, small businesses have been mostly losing workers or they aren't hiring. CTV's John Venevalley-Rao has more.
At the Black Dog Pub in the East End of Toronto, business is actually quite good right now. It's busy amid the Christmas season and quite the contrast to a month ago.
We had a lot of groups and a lot of parties.
But manager Brian Foss says overall they've noticed a bit of a slowdown this year with customers spending less. They haven't had to lay anyone off, but sometimes their staff don't get as many shifts as they'd like.
People are scared, right? A lot of people that would go out maybe 2 times, 3 times a month are going 1.5 times a month and saving their money.
The pub is also feeling the pinch with the cost of food on the rise, along with beer. And like most small businesses, they'd love to expand and hire even more, but economic conditions just won't allow it.
I feel like people are maybe not ordering as much when they're here.
The group Merchant Growth, in a recent survey, found 77% of small businesses aren't hiring seasonal staff for the holidays. 28% said it's because they can't afford additional wages. 15% said they're uncertain about their sales outlook.
Hiring intentions have been down all year, and importantly, layoff intentions have been up all year. So when you mix those two together, you get for a weak labor market.
While large firms have added jobs this year, small businesses seem to have struggled more with tariff shocks, inflation, and higher operating costs.
The one good thing is that a lot of people are spending their money in Canada. That's a big, big change, which is really helpful.
Meanwhile, some small business owners remain cautiously optimistic things could improve in the new year. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
The MLS Cup was up for grabs this afternoon with the Vancouver Whitecaps taking on Lionel Messi and Inter Miami.
It's all over. This is Miami's moment. This is Messi's moment.
Inter Miami claimed their first MLS title with a 3-1 win over the Whitecaps. Now, Miami went ahead 2-1 in the second half when Messi set up Rodrigo de Paul. Messi also set up another goal in stoppage time. The Whitecaps were the first Canadian team to make it to the MLS final since Toronto FC won the Cup back in 2019.
They all compete over most pounds and most amount of money donated.
Well, coming up, the gift of giving. An Ontario minor hockey organization has found a unique way to help stock the shelves at local food banks, creating the largest youth-run food drive in Canada.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's a look at the Queensway, looking at the MTO cameras as we head east and westbound across the city right now. Not looking at any major crashes or slowdowns. It just seems to be a little bit wet on the roads as we do have some flurries in the forecast that we'll get to in just a moment. But right now, highways are not looking too bad. All right, we'll take our extended look at the forecast right now. A look at Queckie Point there behind me. Again, not overly cold here in the capital today. People were still out and about getting some air, but that will soon likely change. We're in for a real winter chill with the temperatures dropping to nearly minus 15 degrees in the overnight hours, and the freezing conditions are expected to linger for at least a few days. So we'll take a quick look through our satellite radar right now. Again, you can see that cloud cover that'll be sticking right across the region. Some flurries are going to be sticking with us right throughout the weekend and to start us off for the next week as well. Here's what's happening across the country at the moment. We've got minus 6 degrees in St. John's, minus 3 with some snow in Charlottetown. We're looking at minus 7 with some flurries as well in the Fredericton area, minus 1 for Halifax. We've got minus 8 in Quebec City, minus 1 here in Ottawa at the moment. We've got 0 for Toronto, 0 for Windsor as well. Minus 13 for Sudbury. They've got some clearer conditions and some cloud cover in Thunder Bay. They're sitting at minus 15 degrees. Minus 21 in Winnipeg right now. Same thing in Regina. The Prairie's really getting some cold air through the area. Minus 33 in the Yellowknife area. And we're also looking at, again, some cloud cover for those areas, minus 15 and minus 17 in Calgary and Edmonton, respectively. We've got a mix of sun and cloud. We're sitting at 10 degrees in Vancouver, minus 20 up toward the Whitehorse area. Now, closer toward home here in Ottawa, our overnight low, we're sitting at about minus 14, minus 15 degrees with some flurries that'll be dealing with in the overnight hours, continuing on right in toward your Sunday. Minus 9 looks like it's going to be the high for our area. We've got minus 17 degrees in the Ottawa Valley for the overnight hours, and minus 9 for your, and light snow for your Sunday as well. And toward the Seaway, pretty much more of the same. Flurries in the overnight hours, minus 14 degrees with light snow for your Sunday. We've got minus 8 degrees for that area. Now here's a look what's happening for the next 7 days ahead. Again, we've got that snow, light snow, albeit for your Sunday, minus 9 here in Ottawa. Some sunshine is on the way for Monday, minus 13 degrees. And we're looking at some more snow that'll be coming in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Again, continuing on into the weekend as well. So it looks like the snow is going to be with us for at least a little while. An Ontario minor hockey organization has found a unique formula to help stock the shelves at local food banks. The Gift of Giving Back uses a competition between the teams to create the largest youth-run food drive in Canada. CTV's Sean Leathon has more.
This is an event like none other. From drop-off to sorting, it's
a lot of people gathering to give food to charity.
The Gift of Giving Back food drive in Burlington is the largest of its kind in Canada. What makes it unique is that all the legwork is done by youth hockey players like 10-year-old Wilfred Livermore, who explains that the key to success is youth teams competing against each other.
They all compete over most pounds and most amount of money donated, and it's just fun to be a part of this.
Each season, teams from the Burlington Eagles Boys Hockey Club and the Burlington Barracudas Girls Club compete to see which team can gather the most food.
Each item here is collected can by can, item by item. We don't have large corporate donors dropping off skids of product or things like that. This is all done by the willing hands of our young people.
Starting in September, players go door to door, filling these blue bags through the fall and building towards this night in December.
We would get so competitive. We'd have to map out areas of Burlington on who was collecting from which parts.
Now in its 20th year, this event has become a rite of passage. Natasha Taylor-Wendy is an under-18 player who's been taking part for nearly a decade.
The other day I was looking through photos of me back when I was probably 11, collecting food out on the sidewalks. It really, all my neighbors know me when I come around with the blue bags every year and asking them for food. So getting to see it all come in together and getting to see all the little kids that are just starting this and starting the journey that I have gone through, it really is just so fun to watch them.
Through community and competition, the results are massive. The food collected here is sent to food banks across the region, lasting through the holidays and beyond.
And this will take us into even March, April of next year for us to be able to supply those food banks with the food that they need.
On this night at the Nelson High School gym, $750,000 worth of food is collected. The total for the drive is just over $1.2 million, serving as an inspiration to Burlington's mayor.
You feel the energy in the room, and for me, this is just an incredible lesson that you're never too young to get involved in doing something good for the community.
And the act of giving back proves to be a gift to these young players.
It's just good to bond with your team.
As friendships are forged, a community thrives, and many more families will have what they need through the holidays. Sean Leathon, CTV News.
I think the current times that we live in stress us out.
When we come back, a one-on-one chat with iconic musician and author Raffi as he lends his voice to a more political theme.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
All right, it's time to now check in with our iHeartRadio Weekender, Tanea Taylor. Tanea.
First on the list today is the Ottawa 67's Teddy Bear Toss game. This is tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the arena at TD Place. Your 67s will have on some super cool can't-miss jerseys for this one, too. So make sure you grab your tickets, and don't forget to bring a new teddy bear to toss on the ice after the 67s score their first goal. Next up is a perfect way to get into the holiday spirit. Ottawa's European-style Christmas market featuring great food, festive drinks, shopping, local vendors, live entertainment, and lots more. This is at Lansdowne. It's perfect for a date night or a friend's night out or to bring the whole family to. Last on the list today is the Magic of Lights, back this year in support of CHEO at Wesley Clover Parks and proudly sponsored by Move 100 and CTV. It's a 2-kilometer drive-through light show with over 2 million lights. It also features the longest light tunnel in Ontario. So much fun to bring the whole family to. It runs through January 3rd. As usual, lots more happening around the capital this weekend. The full list and all the details are at ctvottawa.ca/weekenders. For the iHeartRadio Weekenders, my name's Tanea Taylor. Have a great one.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
For many families across the country, listening to Raffi's Christmas album is an annual holiday tradition. But this year, the children's entertainer is singing a very different tune. CTV's chief anchor, Omar Sachedina, sat down with the beloved musician for an exclusive one-on-one interview.
I think the current times that we live in stress us out. I know this from my own experience. I hear it from friends and colleagues. These are tough times.
Baby beluga in the deep blue sea.
For decades, his songs have served as musical companions to millions around the world.
Baby beluga.
Young fans, now parents, sharing Raffi's voice with their own children.
There are beluga grads now in tens of millions of homes, and they often tell me what an emotional experience it is for them to relive their love of my music with their own kids. And that's music to my ears.
ABC democracy.
But his latest release is more political, a response, he says, to the times we're living in.
We never thought that south of the border democracy would be challenged by the rise of fascism. I never ever thought this would be the case. It's really important for families to be inspired to learn about a citizen's duty to keep a democracy alive and strong. Democracy is not a spectator sport.
When you see the state of the world right now, it seems as though people are becoming more tribal, more polarized.
You know, in our times, it's so important for us to remember our common humanity. Nurturance, love and compassion, empathy, inclusion, diversity. When we see one another as family, the human family, when we see our children as universal beings of light who are here deserving the best we can give them, the best nurturance, that's how we thrive.
Turn, 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 turn this world around.
He hasn't been one to shy away from teaching life lessons to children. This song, inspired by the words of Nelson Mandela.
Green dream, I have a green dream.
Another creation called Green Dream is what he calls an anthem for a green future.
Salam shalom.
And this one, reminding the world about what unites us.
Side by side we live, salam shalom. It's about peace. Salam in Arabic means peace. Shalom in Hebrew means peace. It's all right there for us to embrace.
Are you scared about the state of the world?
I pray every day to be of service. I do the best that I can to make the most positive statements with my songs.
But are you praying harder these days?
I pray daily for gratitude and for inspiration.
'Cause your friends are my friends are your friends.
At 77, he's also championing music education. He was recently a guest panelist for a symposium in Toronto, where the Royal Conservatory launched its music education program for babies and toddlers globally.
We need to invest in our children and invest in our communities and invest in our society. And I think that doing it through music will have very dramatic effects on democracy.
As somebody who chose not to have children, you have this remarkable ability to connect to millions of children around the world. Where does that come from?
Learning that a young child is a whole person, deserving of respect, was the key learning of my life. Respect has been the core value throughout my career. That's why I've never done any commercial endorsements. I've learned so much over the years, and I'm grateful to be able to put that learning into practice, musically, joyfully.
It's a delight to welcome you all here for this wonderful, wonderful occasion. The magic of Christmas is with us.
Well, up next, a celebration at City Hall. More on the Mayor's 23rd annual Christmas celebration when we come back. In tonight's big picture, with just 2 months to go until the start of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games in Italy, the Olympic Flame has begun its Italian tour earlier today. The flame was first lit in ancient Olympia in Greece, the home of the first games, before being handed over to Italian organizers earlier this week. The torch will travel across the country before the opening ceremony on February 6th. Now to some other stories you need to know right now. Mayor Mark Sutcliffe welcomed families and residents to the annual Christmas celebration at City Hall today.
It's a delight to welcome you all here for this wonderful, wonderful occasion. The magic of Christmas is with us.
It's now in its 23rd year. The event supports the Ottawa Food Bank. People had the chance to meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, enjoy festive treats, horse-drawn wagon rides, and skate at the Rink of Dreams.
Cousins now in the slot, another shot, he scores! Dylan Cousins brings up...
The Ottawa Senators back at work tonight after a tough 4-2 loss against the Rangers on Thursday. The St. Louis Blues are in town, and the last time these two teams met, the Blues, well, they skated away with the 4-2 win, so the Sens looking for a redemption tonight. Puck drop is set for just about 15 minutes from now, just after 7 o'clock. And the mayors of Ontario's largest cities are calling on the province to take more action on homelessness caused by addiction and mental health. Ontario's big city mayors have passed a motion calling on the province to declare a state of emergency. They say provincial interventions like the opening of treatment hubs are welcome but insufficient. The province has said it's investing $3.8 billion over the next 10 years to close gaps in mental health and addiction care.
Let's go Blue Jays. Let's go Blue Jays.
Well, coming up, some chirping from some Blue Jays fans in the latest ad campaign for Sick Kids Hospital. Those details up next. Plus, we'll have one more look at the weekend forecast. But first, we'll take a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. Still sitting at -2 here in Ottawa.
Tonight, a border battle with a family's future hanging in the balance.
Being a surrogate is not a criminal offense.
What's stopping a Canadian trying to help an American couple complete their family? Later on CTV National News and Watch on Crave.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Well, here's a recap of the top local stories we're following right now.
Our main goal, we're in healthcare, and so we want to protect the public.
Psychologists and concerned Ontarians rallying on Parliament Hill today, speaking out against what they call an unprecedented deregulation of mental health standards. Could we soon see a new interprovincial bridge connecting Ottawa and Gatineau? Reaction is mixed as the National Capital Commission releases a new report after the first round of public consultations.
3, 2, 1.
And Santas go for a stroll. Nearly 1,000 people came out for the 35th annual Santa Shuffle Fun Run in support of the Salvation Army. All right, and now to a final check up on your wake-up weather. -14 we're looking at overnight. We'll be dealing with some flurries as well, mainly cloudy. And then we'll be dealing with some more of the snow for your Sunday. Pretty much right throughout the day, we'll have some light flurries to deal with. Then on Monday, we're looking at some clearer conditions. Sunny it will be, but cooler. -13 degrees, -17 for your low. And then the snow's coming in again. We've got a 60% chance of the snow on Tuesday and Wednesday. -6 for your high on Tuesday, -1 on Wednesday, and then -4 on Thursday. But again, more flurries there in the forecast. An unlikely pairing has teamed up for an annual holiday fundraising campaign headed by Sick Kids featuring a World Series twist.
And this year, well, it just happens to be the pride of Ontario and Los Angeles. That's right, Mr. Freddie Freeman.
I love that one's a movie.
Hey, kids.
Well, the campaign features Ryan Reynolds and Canada's first baseman, a Canadian first baseman, that is, for the LA Dodgers, Freddie Freeman, who in the ad, he gets a sour reception from these kids here. Freeman, a good sport, playing along in the video. Now, the All-Star was raised in California, but his parents are both from Ontario, and he plays for Team Canada to honor his mother, who passed away from cancer when he was 10 years old. If you get a chance to check out that ad, it's online everywhere. It is hilarious. Definitely one to check out. Well, that's CTV News for this Saturday, December the 6th. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team, keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app anytime. And for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching tonight. I'll be back at 11:30 to wrap up today's news. Until then, have a good night.